first time ever there's a true dual-stick first-person shooter on a handheld system, and its name is Resistance Burning Skies. However, much like the first steps of a child, this first foray into portable gaming isn't sure of itself. It's a wobbly maneuver that shows the promise of the platform, but it's not on par with the current offerings of the genre.
These are dark days, my friend. A time when it seems the very gates of hell have been opened to release nothing less than demons upon us.
Burning Skies is told from the perspective of New York firefighter Tom Riley. The Chimera invasion of America has begun, and pretty much goes right for Riley's wife and kid. Through 6 chapters we wield Riley's fire axe, but I never really felt like I was him. Once in a while Tom will say something to his partner Ellie about his family, but these moments are few and far between. And the cutscenes between chapters are always told from someone else's perspective. Tom's throwaway lines are the only reminder we have of his motivations. And as they're lacking, so is the heart of this game. Those cutscenes are simple animations, but they tend to look shoddy. Overall the game looks okay, but levels do seem a bit barren although they're sharp. Interestingly, the biggest contributing factor to the barren feel is Resistance Burning Skies' sound design. While the orchestral music is pretty, it's used sparingly. Lots of times I was just listening to my own footfalls and empty corridors. Gunfire sounds hollow and fake, but it's more of an issue in multiplayer. See, in other games I can use the sound of gunfire to locate enemies, but in Burning Skies multiplayer, the gunfire sounded like it was all around me all the time. I'd be in an empty hallway and suddenly hear shells popping off left and right, even though I was all alone. Multiplayer supports up to 8 players, but it's such a basic suite I doubt it'll spawn much of a community. There are no clans, no perks outside a few gun enhancement and weapon unlocks pulled from single player, and no real thrill to it. You run around and shoot, and sometimes even that's hard to do as 2-on-2 matches can turn into hide-and-seek games. Most of that was negative, but things get a smidge better on the gameplay side. Resistance Burning Skies is a perfectly serviceable FPS on the Vita. From a top level, the game plays like you'd imagine a first-person shooter to do. Shoulder buttons aim and shoot, it's easy to look around, and reloading's mapped to square. Great! But again, Burning Skies never does anything to make this more than a basic FPS. Levels shouldn't take more than an hour apiece, and that's being generous. The Chimera you're pitted against tend to just stand in one spot, and bosses are a breeze. This is a first-person shooter on the go, but it's a very basic one. Now being on the Vita, Resistance Burning Skies does use the Vita's gizmos to make up for a lack of buttons. Double tapping the back touch to run works well enough, but I was using down on the D-pad by the end of the game. Grenades, secondary fire, interactions, and melee, however, are front touch mechanics, and they tend to be hit or miss. Plenty of times I went to open a door and blew myself up with the carbine's secondary grenade launcher, or fired my bullseye tag round into the floor. Sometimes melee went off with an accidental brush of my thumb, and it was weird deploying grenades and secondary fire modules via the front touchscreen. Don't get me wrong, it worked, but I kind of felt like the enemies were dumbed down to give me time to use this functionality. I would have preferred to aim with the on-screen reticle and tap the back screen to deploy these weapons. Oh, and even though I said the game isn't that hard, and yes, there's New Game Plus and harder difficulties, the checkpoints suck. How many times did I have to walk through the same hallway to beat the final boss? I'd die fighting him and then have to go back and hear the same conversation. This happened at a couple parts in the game. Resistance Burning Skies is the Vita's first step into the world of first-person shooters. With that mindset, it's a successful experiment. It proves the handheld is capable of running the console control scheme. However, it's just not that interesting of a game. The story doesn't grab you, the levels don't make you think, and the multiplayer doesn't give you that, ooh, one more match feeling. If you're crazy for first-person shooters, Burning Skies will give you something to blast and hack on the go. But everyone else could skip this and not miss much besides an easy platinum trophy. For more on firefighters, talk to a Dalmatian. For more on PlayStation Vita games, check out IGN.com.